So aerodynamics is the force of wind that acts on a body, and when we're cycling, it's the largest force that acts against us. So we do a number of things to try to modify the amount of wind resistance or aerodynamic drag by changing our bike position or the equipment on our bike. So there are a number of things that we can do to improve aerodynamics, and the biggest thing is by changing our body position. Almost 80% of aerodynamic drag comes from the body alone. So by getting lower and reducing the hip angle at the hip, by getting our head down closer to the handlebars of the bike, we can significantly decrease aerodynamic drag. A number of different things that we can do is by putting on aerodynamic wheels, using Aero bicycle frames, Aero helmets, tighter fitting clothing, and anything that streamlines the flow around the body can decrease aerodynamic drag. There are a number of ways that we can measure aerodynamic drag. One of them is by using a wind tunnel in a laboratory setting, and a number of different ways by doing field measurements. And so we've developed a device called the BAT box, which stands for Biomechanical and Aerodynamic Technologies. And so this device has different sensors in it that can measure wind direction, wind speed, and air density. So the BAT box allows us to make changes to equipment and the body position on the bike to see if we can improve the aerodynamic resistance. One of the largest changes that we can make with body position is by changing from an upright position that we typically use when climbing to a down position in the drops. By getting in the drops and by bending your elbows so that your forearms are parallel with the ground and you almost have a 90-degree angle here, you can reduce aerodynamic resistance. And by using your head and looking down further while still looking up the road, you can really improve the aerodynamic drag. Everybody needs to find the most comfortable position that suits them. So on longer rides, you may not be able to maintain a purely aerodynamic position. So finding something that suits you over certain distances is very important. One thing to keep in mind is that aerodynamic drag increases exponentially by the speed that you're going on the ground. So when you're going at faster speeds, you may want to be more aerodynamic, but when you're climbing, you may want to sit more upright and be more comfortable. By changing your position from a climbing position to an aerodynamic one, you can increase the speed that you can maintain while producing the same amount of power. So from going from the hoods on the bike to down in the drops, you can improve the speed by 1 to 2 miles per hour. Then again, by reducing the angle between your upper arm and your forearm, you can improve the speed again by another 1 to 2 miles per hour. Then by changing the head position, by going into more of a crouched and tucked position, you can improve by maybe another half a mile an hour. A great example about position changes was with Ryder Hesjedal. Over the last couple of years, we've evolved his time trial position, and just recently he won the Giro d'Italia in his new position. And so by making all those changes and adjusting to it, he was able to become a better time trialist. Now, it took him a long time to adapt to that, so when you make these small changes, it's really important to realize that you need to train in them and adjust to them just like he did. Some of the changes that we made with Ryder were by bringing the arms closer together. So previously they were a lot wider, and by bringing them closer together, we allowed him to relax his shoulders, and we brought the bars up without increasing aerodynamic drag. And while doing that, he was able to relax his head, get more aerodynamic in a smaller tuck, but also produce more power. So Ryder was able to win the Giro d'Italia on the final day, which was a time trial, and he used that position that he had worked so hard in developing, and it was due to all his hard work in doing that that he was able to achieve that goal.